Hey, what's up? Hello everyone. It's Marisa here, and today's video is about my Chicago apartment search. I went a couple weekends ago up to Chicago to tour some places in person, and before that trip I did some research online, watched a couple videos like this one that I'm making now, and I found them really helpful, so I thought I would add my own perspective. Especially, I think this perspective could be helpful for new graduates with a smaller budget, because as you'll see when I jump into my criteria, wasn't working with a lot. And though I loved looking at the videos of the luxury apartment buildings, that just was not the reality of my search. So let's get into it. What I was exactly looking for: I'm living with one other person, a roommate, and so we were looking for a 2-bed, ideally 2-bath. The biggest thing to us was location, so we wanted to be in the Lincoln Park or Lakeview neighborhoods. We wanted to be, a decent commute to our jobs, living in a neighborhood that's like young, walkable to things like bars, restaurants, cafes, things like that. And then we also had a pretty lean budget, so we wanted to spend under $2,000 together, so about $1,000 per person per month. And we also looked at other things like whether there was laundry in unit or in building, if there's good natural light, and then also like how close the building was to public transportation system or a grocery store. So that is what we were looking at. Those were kind of the necessities, and then the nice to haves. During the weekend that we went, we probably looked at around 8 buildings, but I'm only going to talk about 6 of them because that's what I was able to film some of them. So starting off the bat, I have this printed off list as well. We looked at a property that was in Lakewood. So this was like way more north than what we wanted, about a 50-minute commute, but it was $900 a month, so under budget. And as you'll see in the clips, pretty nice building, pretty updated, but it was a first level building, which we were totally fine with a walk up, but the first level like just isn't ideal safety wise, especially being 2 women, so we didn't like this one. The next one we looked at was a garden unit. So there was this like bigger apartment type building that was probably like at least 4 or 5 levels, and then in the back was the garden unit, which was a smaller building that had 2 different levels. So the one we looked at that was $925 a month per person was basically a basement, so it didn't have super great windows. It was very updated, but the layout was just extremely tiny. There would not be room for like desk to be in the different bedrooms. Like, I feel like there was barely room for like even a bed. Just not a realistic layout. So the next one we looked at, this was in Bricktown, which is an area I'm not familiar with, but it's more west than what we kind of wanted. It was nice because they had like an outdoor space, but again, it was on the first level, which like wasn't ideal for us. There was lots of room. There was even like, a dining room and stuff, which would be nice to have, but the location just wasn't ideal, so we were not gonna go with that. Next up, we saw a building that we think college students from like DePaul or something lived in, and they hadn't totally moved out yet, so there was like furniture still in the space, and you could tell they didn't like clean a lot, so it was very dirty. The kitchen was nice, but again, it was just like full of stuff, so it just made it seem a lot less nice than it was. The space was good though, like there was 2 pretty decent sized bedrooms and like extra space on top of that, but because of the location, again, was like more west than what we wanted, we didn't want to go with that. Also, it was at the very top of our budget, coming in at $10-12 per person per month. And the smell in there was horrible. It was like every bad smell you could think of, which obviously they would clean it before we would move in, but it just made us not want to think about that one. All right, the next building we saw had amazing light. It was right on the lake. but it was super far north. It was $900 per person, and again, people were like moving out, so it was kind of hard to tell what the space would look like. But if that layout had been in our price range, like a little farther south, we totally would have gone for it. But you know, we saw in the building there were like some older folks living there, and like it just wasn't the environment that we kind of wanted. We didn't go with this one even though we really liked the space. The next place we saw was in Wrigleyville area, and we really liked the location and stuff, but the building itself was like right by the L. It was right by the subway station. Like when you opened your window, it was right there. We did hear the train go by, and like maybe it could be bearable, but there's also construction going on and we weren't sure when that was going to be wrapped up. And so even though the space was decent, we just couldn't really budge on that, so we didn't end up going with that one either. So you're probably asking, you went through all these apartments and you didn't like any of them. That is true. We were really grateful for the support we had. We had some, they're called leasing agents in Chicago. You can work with a leasing agent and it's at no cost to you. So we had some really great people show us around, but ultimately didn't find anything that was a perfect fit. So we had to do more research, and we ended up finding a place that met all of our criteria. But we had both left the city. Both my roommate and I aren't like from Chicago. It would be, you know, quite a haul to get there. So we ended up doing like a FaceTime tour, which still makes me nervous, but the building was just like perfect. And so we ended up signing that one, which we found like a week or so after touring some places in person. So since it was a FaceTime tour, I do not have video of that. But if you are interested to see what it looks like, stay tuned. I'll be moving in June, and I'm planning on doing videos about the whole process, doing like a move-in vlog, tour, all that kind of thing. And I can even make a video on like overall advice, because hopefully this will work out. And hope subscribe below, leave comments if you have any questions. Hope this video was helpful, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye. See you in the next video.